Until the lion learn how to write, every story will glorify the hunter. This is the famous quotation by Chinua Achebe, famous Nigerian writer. Until the lion, the king of the forest, is taught how to read and write, hunter will be interested to listen to every story of his success. Here, colonizer has been represented as a hunter and colonized one is the lion. Yes, friends, today I will discuss with you about post-colonial literature. Literature written after 1947 is post-colonial. Before 1947, British had colonized around half of the world. Continents like Asia, Africa, Latin America were colonized. 50 countries of the world bear the brunt of colonization. What is colonialism? The control of a nation over a territory or people using imperialism. And what is imperialism? Imperialism, we call it in Urdu Samrajyat, extending power over a country using military force. Britishers then started civilizing the colonized countries as they were not educated before. Colonialism can be called as anti-colonialism because people live in the custody of the colonizers, like the home imprisonment. Thomas Macaulay, former Secretary of War of Great Britain, said, "It will be the biggest success of English people when English will be spoken all around the world." Friends, the same thing is happening everywhere in the world. English is considered as international language and is spoken and being respected everywhere. Britishers first of all arrived in subcontinent in 1608 for the purpose of establishing spice trade, spice factories. Then they continued their business for the next coming years. But 200 years before that, Columbus sailed to search India, but he failed. Mistakenly, he reached in America. Another man, Vasco da Gama, reached India finally after arriving at Arabian Sea, and he reached in India and started business. Post-colonial literature. Post-colonial literature is written in after 1947 on colonialism. I will first of all discuss with you about Rudyard Kipling, who is modern poet, journalist. His father, John Lockwood, he spent many years of his life as an art teacher in India. Rudyard Kipling was a racist poet. He received Nobel Prize in 1907. He wrote a poem, White Man's Burden. Remember, friends, this is a racist poem. A racist is a person who is prejudiced, who has prejudiced belief in one's race, as his race is the superior one. We call it in Urdu Nasal Parast. He is in this belief saying that white people, the white men, are holding the burden of all people around the world. They are teaching them and civilizing them. Rudyard Kipling in another poem has said that east is east and west is west, twain shall never meet. Secondly, friends, we will discuss about E.M. Forster, who is the English fiction writer and an essayist of modern age. E.M. Forster has written a world-famous novel, A Passage of India. He, in this novel, says in the last lines, Dr. Aziz is a character who is a doctor. He is an Indian character. Finally, Dr. Aziz has a meeting with Mr. Fielding. Mr. Fielding says to Dr. Aziz, Dr. Aziz, we are still friends. Dr. Aziz replied, no, not here, not under that sky. Dr. Aziz was accused of Adela's rape charges. Here, the difference of colonizer and the colonized one is depicted very clearly. This is a famous post-colonial literature related novel. Thirdly, I will discuss with you a famous Sudani writer, Tayyib Saleh. He has written a famous novel, Seasons of Migration to the North. This novel has been translated into 20 languages. And remember, friends, though Talib Saleh knew English very well, but he wrote this novel in his own language, Arabic. In this novel, there is a character Mustafa who has spent 7 years of his life in West. He returns to Sudan. He reveals his past 7 years' experience of living in West. He expresses how he had been betrayed by the West woman. He says in his last lines, Othello, there is no Othello. Othello is a lie. Remember, friends, in English plays, Othello is the great tragedy written by William Shakespeare. And in that play, Othello was a foreigner. Othello came from outside to city of Venice. So here says Othello, there is no Othello. Othello is a lie. So it means was feeling repented after coming to his own country. He felt like his 7 years were futile. This novel depicts post-colonialism. Finally, I will discuss with you world famous post-colonial novel written by Nigerian novelist Chinua Achebe, Things Fall Apart. The title has been taken from W.B. Yeats' poem The Second Coming. Let me explain you, friends, the story in a brief way. For understanding this story, I will tell you the character sketch, which is very important. There is a character of Onoko, who is father of protagonist Okonowo. Onoko father is a lazy man and Okonowo does not like his father. Okonowo, the protagonist or the main character of the story, is a wrestler. He is a very angry man. Okonowo has a son, Novoi, and he has a foster son, Ikimi Funa, and there is a focal person of the village, the great man of the village, Nawakibi. So this is brief. I told you about the character sketch. Now let's see what this story is all about. It says that there was a tribe, and in a tribe there were many fights. In a tribal fight in the adjacent village, Okonkowo, while fighting with a man, he kills him, and he had a son of 15 years. His name was Ikimi Funa. So it was decided by Okonowo that he will adopt that child. He will look after him. So Okonowo had to kill father, son Ikimi Funa as a tradition, as Nawakibi suggests. Nawakibi, as I told you, is a focal person of the village. He suggests that it was a tradition that Ikimi Funa, the foster son of Okonowo, had to be killed. So if you feel sympathy, that focal person, Nawakibi says, I can kill him because you have sheltered this boy, and now he had been living with you, and he became good friend of Novoi, his own son. So Okonowo felt this thing from his inside, that I am a wrestler and how come some other person kills. So he kills Ikimi Funa. In another place, in a tribal fight, Nawakibi, I told you about him. He is a focal person, the great man. His 16 years old son is mistakenly killed by Okonowo. Now, as a punishment, Okonowo has been exiled for 7 years to another village. When he returns after 7 years, when he comes back to his own village in Nigeria, he realized that the whole outlook of his village was changed. There were colonizers who were ruling the nation. His son Novoi had converted to Christianity. Okonowo, in a tribal fight. Now, first of all, he was very astonished to see the whole custom of the lifestyle has been changed. So in a fight, he again fight, because he fights many times. He kills a man. He fights with a man, and he gets punishment. As the people were getting civilized, he gets punishment by the English people. So first of all, he feels very astonished, and then he feels very ashamed. So finally, when the court messenger comes to him for a court summon, he kills him and he commits suicide. So the end of the story comes here when he commits suicide. The whole lesson of this novel is that how the colonization, the colonial power, changes the whole scenario of the city or the village. So this is a post-colonial novel. Hope you like this video. Thank you, friends.